Steph, Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta Italy. What do you guys expect from LeBron James? He's playing as good as you and Kevin, but you know, it's his own floor. He's probably going to be the one that will try to keep the Cavs in the series. What do you guys expect from him?
We expect that. We expect him to play well, play with a lot of force, aggressiveness. There's obviously the change in venue will probably spark a lot of energy from them, and we have to play even better to try to get a win in Game 3 than we have in the first two games, knowing how much they can feed off the home crowd, how inspired LeBron and Kyrie are probably going to be, especially out the gate, try to set the tone. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun atmosphere. We've been here before. We know what to expect from that standpoint, and just going to be a matter of how well we can pay attention to details on our game plan and the adjustments we're going to make going into Game 3.
Chris, back left.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Steph, going back to what happened last year in Game 3, Draymond said that Game 3 is going to be the toughest game of the series thus far. What makes it so tough, and what can you learn from what happened in last year's finals in Game 3?
We can learn, how thin the line is from success and failure, especially playing on the road. They usually home teams, have a different spark about them, and they might make a few more shots. Those momentum swings, those 6-point, 8-point runs that you can go on can be, a lot harder to deal with 19,000 people going crazy. So you got to just understand, what's at stake every possession from the jump. The biggest thing for us is we usually haven't gotten off to a great start in this building. In the first quarter, they come out with a lot of energy and things click for them, and we've usually had to deal with a deficit. Whether we come back or not is another question, but hopefully we can play better in that first quarter, especially to give ourselves a little bit more momentum than we've had in the past here.
A couple of rows up in the aisle.
Steph, Rosgold on What A, NBC Sports Bay Area. The Christmas game was a tough one for you. But since then, what are some of the turning points and adjustments that have happened so that the whole transition of you and KD together really seems to be coming together at the right time right now?
There's a lot of things, just obviously getting more comfortable with each other as time goes on, but just simplifying things, really. Understanding that not just me and KD, but Clay, Draymond, we all can just be ourselves and just play our game and not have to overthink or overcomplicate anything, really. We all bring a little something different to the table, and the pieces of that puzzle fit really well. And so when we're all locked in and focused and playing aggressive, knowing that whoever has the ball, make a play, just try to keep it simple. Something good is going to happen. You're going to either make a play for yourself or for somebody else. So that's really it. Really, that was just a good lesson to learn in a hostile environment here. That the stat sheet might look differently from night to night, but at the end of the day, we all have a role on this team. We all have an opportunity to help us win, and we all can really play at an extremely high level at the same time and do great things.
And lastly, are you and KD friends? And if so, at what point do you feel that started to really develop and happen?
I can't stand that guy, man. No, for real. No, it's funny. I've known him since 2009, basically. So I wouldn't say we're not at each other's house every day. We're not that type of thing. But when you go through these battles and from October till now, I definitely feel like I know him a lot better than I did, and that'll hopefully continue as we hopefully go forward in our careers. But he's a great dude. He has a great sense of humor. I feel like I'm like a dating show right now. He's a great dude, I really like being around him, and hopefully that continues.
Tim and Marcus before.
Tim Kawakami, American News. Steph, your team's never been shy about chasing history, particularly last year with 73. Do you allow yourself, even quietly, to say what 16-0 could mean historically for you?
Nah, because we have a huge hurdle to get over tomorrow. Like we talked about a little earlier, Game 3 has been rough for us historically and especially in this building. So to give ourselves a chance at even coming close to thinking about that, we need to really just lock in and give every effort we have on tomorrow and how hard this 48 minutes is going to be to really seize control of the series. We've talked about before that 16-0 doesn't matter in any stretch of the imagination unless that's a closeout game and that's the opportunity in front of us, because all it is just winning a championship and doing what you need to do to get that done. So tomorrow is another step in that direction that we need to be ready for.
Draymond just said that going for 73 was a mistake. Maybe not a mistake blatantly, but just maybe took your focus off a little bit of the championship. Do you agree with that? Maybe you talked about it, or it was just too much of a thing for you guys last year?
I don't know. I mean, in the moment, you obviously wanted it. That was a decision we had talked about and we had discussed as a group and answered questions from the media pretty much from January on about that being a possibility. So I don't know if there maybe have been a little bit of a mental fatigue when it comes to just how much it took to get that 73 done and then having to restart and go through the playoffs. But I honestly, I wouldn't regret those decisions at all. We were well known we were one game away from winning a championship, so you can I don't think you can second guess that much. But yeah, this situation is nice to be able to just turn the page and just focus on winning a championship in its purest form, and that's what we're about right now.
Marcus, last question in the middle.
Steph, I got two for you. When did you know you guys were a good defensive team? At what point during this maybe 5-year run did you realize you guys were a really good defensive team and you were a part of that?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. It was talked about and it's well known if you want to win a championship it might not have to be the best trait about you, but it needs to be top 5, top 10 in the league for you to actually have a chance of being competitive in a championship kind of situation. You can't just try to outscore people all the time. It makes it a little bit tougher, but I don't know if there's a real turning point. Really, it's just that became a part of the identity. Even when Coach Jackson was here way before that was talked about a lot more. Being a strength of the team as opposed to something you just kind of glance over and hope for the best. Really.
When you look at how good you guys can be now on defense and compared to like your early years when you first got here, it's like night and day. Would you consider it like a miraculous rise on defense?
You would. Your plugs travel too, huh? No, I think you got me all messed up.
Is it you're drawing on your experience from the past, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been playing against Kyrie for a long time now, and it's not just me; we're doing it collectively. But he missed some shots he usually makes, but just because people think you're playing great defense, you can't believe in the hype. It's only 2 games, so I mean, he didn't catch fire till like Game 3 last year in the finals, so we're not gonna get too excited just yet.
Should we expect to see you on him to start games and throughout most of the games?
Yeah, I mean, we'll all match up with them, just like we have been with LeBron and other guys. Because you guys are such a versatile defensive team, you guys can switch a lot. But yeah, I know I love drawing the best player to play on the team. It's a great challenge.
Sean Livingston was talking the other night about avoiding complacency. I'm sure you guys know the trap.
Yeah.
Are you making that a concerted effort?
Yeah, definitely. You can't read too much of the media because you're either playing great or you're playing terrible. So you just got to avoid that. So your head doesn't get too big, and you just got to stay locked in on the task. And that's trying to come in here and get a win or two. Focus just on tomorrow night, because tomorrow night's such a pivotal game, and to really swing the momentum of this series if we're not ready to play.
Do you feel like you're playing better than this time last year? Obviously, you won 2 games easily last year, but it just seems like the level of play is better right now. The first 2 games from you guys.
As a team, I think so. I think we're moving the ball great. We're shooting the ball at a high clip, and our defense has been unbelievable. So, I mean, it's easy to draw back on last year because, you know, it was a tough series for us. Obviously, had a lead and we lost it. And just got to learn from it and not try and, you know, make the same mistakes twice.
The way KD and Curry are meshing, are you kind of seeing it make quite a progression here in the last few weeks?
Yeah, definitely. Those guys have been unbelievable, and they can make for a very scary duo for a team across the NBA just because there's both mismatch nightmares. They get their shot offs around anybody, and it's coming together at the right time.
How do you guys approach Game 3 in a sense? Is there any chance of complacency setting in?
I mean, there's always a chance, but we're not going to let it happen just because we're hungry to be here. It's the NBA Finals. We should not get complacent. It's not, Game 58 of the regular season or something. So the way we avoid it is just come out locked in from the jump, don't turn the ball over, try to get a shot down the floor every time, and stick to the game plan we've been doing on defense the last 2 games. I think we'll be in a good position to win the game.
So what have you guys been able to battle as you have, and how important has it been to beat that challenge in this series?
I give credit to Zaza and the bigs who've done a great job, trying to keep him off the boards. He's probably one of the better offensive rebounders in the league. He's killed us the last 2 years in the finals. I think he's averaged double-double, so we've been able to slow him down the first 2 games and just probably trying to match his physicality and not let him get a free run to the rim every time because he's a monster when he gets a floor to steam going for offensive boards.
Wait, what is it about Kyrie that you have regarding him?
A number of things. I mean, he can do it off the catch. He's got great moves, one-on-one moves, he's the best in the world.